we're having a challenge today. Is it working?
Yeah, it just went live right now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's Robin Moser and Anna with Robin Moser and Associates. We're having a bit of a technological challenge today, so we are just going to do it live. No fancy things on the screen or anything like that. And we're going to teach you the income tax cocktail. And we're going to talk about property taxes.
That's right. Okay, a very exciting topic that you need a cocktail for.
So this cocktail, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's in it. So you need a shaker full of ice, as we always love.
Yes.
And then you're going to put in 1.5 ounces of dry gin.
Use this bigger one. This is 2 ounces.
Okay.
So it's kind of.
So 1.5 ounces of dry gin.
Yeah, that's good.
And then you're going to use 3/4 of an ounce.
Yes, that's your ounce then.
Of dry vermouth. There you go. And then we're going to use 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. There we go.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use 3/4 of an ounce of freshly squeezed orange juice. And then we're going to throw in a dash of, I don't even know how to say this one, Angostura bitters.
Yeah, it's an orange bitter.
Orange bitters. And then we're going to shake. Now, I don't know, man, I'm going to tell you.
Did
Michelle did quite the thing on the dance.
I did not watch it, so
I think you and Michelle need to have a dance.
We're gonna have a dance off.
If you want to win on the dancing, you're gonna have to have your game now.
What did she do? Just do this.
Okay, well let's see. Do your dance. You think go beat Michelle.
All right. I have no idea what Michelle has done, but I can shake it.
All right, and then we've had a coupe glass nicely chilling that Anna has had ready for quite a while.
We've had some ice in there. It smells it now.
Exactly, and now we are going to take our cocktail, strain it into our beautifully chilled coupe glass. See, this one has orange juice in it, so I feel like this is like good for you.
Yeah.
Getting in your vitamins.
Almost breakfast.
And then we have a dehydrated orange. You can use a real orange, you can use an orange rind, anything like that. Throw it into your glass. And here
my cocktail
is your cocktail.
All right.
Cheers.
Oh, very boozy.
It is very boozy.
I think the both, what do you call them?
The sweet and the dry vermouth?
The vermouth is really coming through on this one.
Which is really interesting. I actually thought that the orange juice would cut it out a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't cut down, and I'm not a vermouth fan.
Okay, so not a fan.
But, I mean, if you like that kind of those herby drinks, that's it's a good maybe digestive, kind of, you know, after a heavy meal, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so after a heavy meal, this is a great cocktail. Ooh. I don't believe I'd be making that work like tonight, no.
No, unless like you're not happy with him. I'm angry with you, so I made you the cocktail I did not like.
Well, you know what though? I have to say, I don't like income tax.
The cocktail totally sucks.
Yeah, and this gives me the same kind of reaction as income tax.
Yeah, and the property tax alone goes with it. So I guess it's fitting then that it is. But yeah, let's talk about property tax. It's a hot topic right now. I think majority people just got their property assessments in the mail, and there's always like a mixed feelings about that. That's a no. So I think a lot of people don't know where the property tax come from, how it's calculated, how the dollar value, you know, comes, because it's usually quite different from what we call market value of real estate.
But what's really cool is what Anna's not saying, is Anna actually has a higher level of knowledge when it comes to property taxes and property.
Don't tell that to people.
She does, because she actually sits on a board that helps with people.
It's a new thing, yes. I will be on Chestermere review appeal review board as of this year, so I just did complete my course and my exam. So
she is really, really smart when it comes to this.
Oh God. Okay, well I try to be, I guess. But you know, again, so we always have the conversation, and with like people are like, oh, why is my property value is different? And I guess with and that's actually a cool thing to learn for me, because I never knew how they come up with a property value, like in terms of property, right? And I guess, so number one, every municipality has to do annual assessment. That's is by law, by the regulations. They have their own assessors. They do it. And you know, there's so many cities, and it's impossible to do an individual home to be assessed. So they use something called that mass assessment. So they basically take your property, like say it's a 2-story, and take every 2-story that's sold with vicinity of your home, and they take kind of the comparable market approach, and basically they do have a various, like every assessor actually has its own system that they design, how they calculate the property value based on what it was before to what it's now, and the city gives the assessor what the budget they have to collect the tax for the year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I actually, this is something I'm always passionate about, is because a lot of people will say, well, my property tax is too high, or they'll say my assessment was too high or it's too low.
Yeah.
But your property taxes are based on a calculation of 2 numbers. So one is called your mill rate, which is basically your portion of the total city budget based on the value
That's right.
of your home, times by the value of your home. So it's 2 numbers. So just because your property tax is high doesn't mean, or has gone up, doesn't mean that your actual taxes are going to increase, because it's dependent on what your new mill rate is, which changes every year, just like your property
Exactly.
taxes.
And you have to remember, sometimes the communities grow, and you add houses in the same community you live for maybe even a few years. So that percentage actually gets smaller, because now so much like the shared mill rate, that budget that the city set up, is now shared between more homes.
Absolutely.
So that's how your tax also percentage can go down.
Absolutely.
Yes. And the property value. So I think right now what a lot of people get, so let's talk about dates. So your property value gets assessed.
I went on a date once.
Once, as she married him. So as of July 1st of 2024, so your property value right now, assessment, comes as of what was on July 1st of 2024. And that's why people are like, well, this is not the market value right now, is because it is assessed on July 1st. They do take characteristics and physical appearance of home until the end of the year. So for example, if your home is under construction, that's kind of like what we're like, what do you mean? I was like, if your home is under construction or severe renovation, then sometimes they do kind of review the assessment, or is it subsidiary assessment again? So when you complete your home build or renovation, that they might review your property tax and assess it differently.
But also keep in mind, let's say hypothetically, like in my house, I've redone my kitchen, I've redone my floors, I've repainted, I've replaced the facade of my fireplace, but those are all things I didn't need permits for, so the city doesn't know that I've done all that. And because the city doesn't know I've done all that, it hasn't affected my property tax, but it will when we go to sell the house. So until you start actually needing permits for your renovations, the city may not know the interior look of your house until you sell the property, and then they'll adjust their assessments based on
Yeah, and so let's say you live in a mature community that is undergoing a facelift. So you are like an older bungalow on the same street that you had another 2 or 3 older bungalows that have been renovated and sold before the July 1st of 2024, obviously for much higher value. And now you kind of fit the comparable of your street, and assessor assess your property value at much higher rate. So in that case, yes, it's potentially that you need to appeal your property tax and show prove the review board that you not like the bungalows have been sold on the same street as yours, because you're maybe original and didn't have any updates, and therefore the value would have been different. I think a lot of people reach out to real estate agents around, and I have done, like, I help people over the years, like tons. Obviously, like, I don't charge any fees. It's kind of like, I'm saying it's my community service, right? And people like trying to understand why their home has been assessed. I was like, well, here's the values that they like. How do you compare to this home or that home? If you are going through IPO process, maybe I'll post this later, because I did pull out the helpful links that you need to know where to find the filing process, what to do before the filing process to make sure you understand your assessment, I guess, the thing, and it kind of takes you to the assessment review board page, where it kind of step by step shows you how to file the complaint.
But I will say this, if you sit here and you want to complain about how big real estate commissions are when you're selling your home, just remember all the money we saved you in those tax years when we did those assessments for you and got your tax assessment.
That's right. I mean, like, it's like literally a free service. And also, I think right now, like, you know, because Calgary's surrounding areas went through such a big jump of prices. I think a lot of people like, oh my God, like, my assessment went up $500,000 this year.
Your assessment's $500,000
for my property.
Well, it went up $500,000.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure this house is worth more than
It
$500,000.
went up $500,000, and it did for a lot of people down the lake. And everybody's like, oh my God, like, it's like jumped so high, but so as prices, right? So when we're looking at how the city comes up with your assessment notice for your property, they take the comparables up to July 1st.
True. What I find funny though is, so for me, I've had my property assessment in the last 12 years over double, but my income tax or my property taxes have only actually increased at best $1,000 a year.
Yeah,
in 12 years.
Again, yeah, like
this perspective.
Yeah, you have to take a look at it. You know, obviously, everything is getting expensive. Let's put it this way. You know, we know going to the grocery store and things. It's all like when I'm chatting with my community members, I said, listen, if you think you cannot just sell your home for what it has been assessed for, then you have a problem. And that way you should appeal for sure.
Or if you think you put your house up for sale for the amount of your assessment and you're going to go into a massive bidding war and get well over your asking, then maybe sometimes it's just be quiet.
Yeah, I was like, well, well, the way I explain it to my clients as like low property assessed value is not a bad thing. It just means you pay less taxes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and eventually it does catch up. But like as we have an activity in the neighborhood and the prices do go up and the new values come up for the assessors to take from the market to use for their evaluation, that's when you're going to be seeing the biggest changes on your assessment notice.
What is interesting though, and this is one thing that I've noticed, is that the longer you own your home, the more incorrect your property assessment becomes, because obviously you've done things to the home, you've improved the home, and all that kind of stuff. So like for me, I've owned my home now for 23 years. And it's really interesting that in 23 years, I can tell you that my property assessment is far lower than it probably, if I was to put it on the open market, because of the fact that I didn't need those permits, I didn't need to tell the city about my upgrades. The exterior of my house looks very similar to the day I bought it because I didn't change the siding or anything like that other than the shingles. And the interior has changed dramatically, but I would say that my property assessment is drastically incorrect and far less. So the longer you own your home, it's actually kind of a funny thing, is it seems like it gets more off the mark because of the fact that the city doesn't know what's happening on the inside unless you're needing to get permits for it.
Yeah, so if you guys have a question about, you know, your property value and you want to kind of, you know, before you go complain, double check, is it the value that is being assessed in, or it's even lower, then you can contact our team and we can definitely kind of do like a quick CMA, which is comparable market analysis.
And also to remember is that it doesn't, your mill rate is not debatable.
Yes.
The amount of your
Cannot
mill rate,
negotiate that.
yeah, that is not something that you get to appeal. You only get to appeal your property tax assessment. So
That's
your
right.
mill rate is not a debatable thing. Something
That's right.
to keep in mind.
Property value, I guess.
Okay,
Not tax
so
assessment.
our prizes that are offered by and on behalf of Remax Realty
Yes.
Professionals,
Get
if
that.
you like and share our show, which we absolutely appreciate, are these amazing and stunning coupe glasses.
I don't know,
They
are
are
they supposed to
so
open
beautiful.
them?
You can open them.
Okay.
We had them on one show,
Oh.
and on one show we actually
no,
used
it's like
them.
still new.
They're new.
Yeah.
But they were beautiful and they're
Comes with
absolutely
this
stunning.
stir stick and everything.
Oh yeah, they're fancy.
Like-
Super fancy.
I love opening new boxes on the show. Nothing makes me more nervous. There.
There. See, look at these. These are beautiful, four beautiful.
Wow, they're really
coupe
sturdy.
glasses.
It's like
I know, they're really nice quality.
not as dainty as usual.
No.
Like like mine. It's like you're afraid to touch them. You think you're gonna break from squeezing them too hard.
No, but these are really, really nice coupe
Yeah.
glasses. So,
amazing. Get 4 of them.
and that's what you're liking and sharing on your show today.
Yes.
So please like and share our show, tag your friends. Every time you like, share, and tag, you will be entered into the draw at the end of the month for these glasses.
Yay! It makes a great Mother's Day gift too.
It does.
Yeah.
Every mom needs a drink.
What are we doing next show? Let's,
Oh my goodness,
yeah, we
no.
didn't
See, we're so off
we-
because of the stupid technology.
No, it's just-
Next,
yeah.
I know. The next week is the money maker, and we're using houses to mitigate or reclaim your taxes. This is my most favorite
Yeah.
subject.
Hopefully,
ever.
it's also much tastier.
Yeah, well, the next one is pear flavored
Oh,
vodka, mellow liqueur.
Okay, well that's gonna be
Yeah, I
good.
don't know how
So-
that's not going to be really good.
Yeah, the last time I had pear flavored vodka, that was gone within days.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you so much. Have a great
Thanks
day.
for watching, you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Stay there.
Okay, and I'm just